GIGGAB, episode 520 for Monday, February 9th, National Pizza Day. I know, 2026. Woohoo! Greetings, folks, and welcome to GIGGAB, the show by, for, and about working musicians. Our sponsor today is squarespace.com/GIGGAB. You can go there to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code GIGGAB. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton, and I have a fun guest with a fantastic conversation today that I loved having, and I'm eager to share with you. But I want to try something a little different. It's sort of we're always experimenting with this show, right? And one comment that I have heard over the last couple of years since Paul stopped being able to do the show schedule-wise, at least not on a regular basis, is that the timely discussion of my gigs and all of the stuff that I'm doing winds up getting pushed by the wayside, right? Because I schedule these interviews and we do the interviews and they're great. And we've heard positive comments about all that. And I love that. But it does mean that these things have kind of fallen by the wayside. So I thought, well, why not experiment? I did this before the episode with Bill Wharton. And that was kind of a functional thing because I realized I wasn't going to have time to record the full NAMM episode, and I wanted to, of course, keep the consistent episode release out. I like to make sure that you have a GIGGAB episode every Monday, no matter what. And so I did a little, pre-NAMM episode. I talked a little bit about NAMM, and then we did the interview with Bill. And I'm going to do something similar today, except I'm not going to talk about NAMM in this pre-roll. I am going to talk about just what's been going on with my gigs and all of that stuff, because I think there's a way of making this work, and it's an experiment. So let me know, feedback at giggabpodcast.com, what you think of all this. But I had 2 gigs in the last week here. The first one was a very last-minute thing for Bitter Pill. And I didn't really understand what we were doing until I got to the gig. So we got this opportunity. It came up in the band group text, and so it was, hey, look, we can do this gig opening for Horsefly Gulch, which is a band we've played with a bunch of times. They're great folks, great music, and very compatible with the weird quirkiness of Bitter Pill, which I love. And they said, oh, it's at this place where we're going to get people can come. Like it was presented as like a gig that was going to be professionally filmed. And I was like, we get to have this, professional, multicam shot of the band, and we should do this. I was like, okay. And it was like maybe, I don't know, an hour from the house or something. Fine. Over in Bedford, I think, New Hampshire, which is about an hour away. So everybody chimed in and was like, yep, I'm available. John, our guitar player, was not available. And it also was kind of this, we found out it was a gig for the opportunity of getting this filmed. It was an experiment that this venue was doing, and so there wasn't going to be compensation for this, other than there wasn't going to be financial compensation. There would, of course, be the produced video of the show. I was like, okay, well, John, our guitar player, can't make it. He already had a prior commitment. I mean, I think this was like Monday that this came up, or maybe it came up while I was at NAMM, which, kind of made it mayhem. I was like, yeah, I'm available. John wasn't available. Didn't really make sense to try and pull in a sub, because even though we have this guy named Jay Fortin who has subbed on guitar with Bitter Pill many times and could just drop right in, especially for an hour-long gig, we didn't really, want to pull him in for a free gig. And I think we even maybe did ask him, and he wasn't available. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this without electric guitar, which with Bitter Pill means Billy plays cello to serve the role of a bass. So we had cello as bass. Tomer playing acoustic guitar. Emily occasionally playing ukulele. Me playing drums. they were going to backline the whole thing, so I wasn't even playing my drums. That was fine. Adam, the drummer from Horsefly Gulch, always has great kits and like no problem. So okay, so we go, and Lisa asked me, my wife, she was like, can I come with you? And I'm like, yeah. Actually, I invited her with me. I'm like, I think that, she loves Bitter Pill, and so I was like, okay, great. We get there, and the space was this space called Studio 603, I think is what it's called, here in New Hampshire. 603 is our area code. And it looked more like an art space with a huge, like there were different little art spaces. They had a little podcast studio there, which was interesting, a space for like painters and things like that, a lobby area. And then I wouldn't, maybe it felt like a recording studio in a little bit, but it just was the back of it was this big room that had half of it was like green screen and half of it was white screen. And literally where the drums were set up was like on the line between the two, just the way they had kind of set this up. And there were some chairs and things there, but there was also like an electronics workbench that we were looking at when we played. So we were looking at like one row of like easy chairs and an ottoman or something, and then like workbench and a fridge, and then there was some sort of platform up above the workbench that could look down on the band. And so when Lisa walked in, she's like, "Oh, am I even supposed to be here?" And I'm like, "I think so." And I look at it was fine. Like she's not just a spectator, of course. She's my wife, so like it's cool. And the band knows her. She does sound for us all the time. Like it was not going to be a problem, even if there weren't supposed to be members of the public there. It was going to be fine. But I pull up the poster for the event. I'm like, no, yeah, it's the thing. I'm like, oh, it's BYOB. Like, okay, now I'm starting to see, like, I didn't quite realize. And so I was like, okay, fine. And they were setting up the system, and the sound system was pieced together by pieces that the other people had. They didn't really tell us. There almost wasn't any monitor for like drums to hear any other instruments or vocals or anything. Thankfully, we fixed that problem. Both Adam, the other drummer, and I lobbied for that for all of the obvious reasons. And so we got that set up. And I loved that whoever was in charge of like playing the music that was on the PA while we were kind of assembling and setting everything up was playing the Apple Music Prog Rock Essentials playlist. So, we like 2112 played, but also like some Keith Emerson stuff, I think from the Nice, and some Yes and old Genesis and things like that. So like I was in my element, obviously, which I loved. And that kind of helped me just like smooth it. I was like, okay, there's like-minded people here. I'm going to be all right. But it was just one of those like, interesting little setups. We set up, we played. There were members of the public there that kind of hung out and liked it and, were appreciative and all those things, which was good. We did not play the best. Like I haven't seen the video, but based on my perception of the show, I would lobby to not release the whole thing. There were moments that were amazing. Not having electric guitar, of course, gave us all the opportunity to fill in different ways or feel grooves a little bit differently. Being effectively a three-piece of musicians, of instrumentalists, I should say. Everybody in the band's a musician. A voice is an instrument, but of the three of us, kind of rhythm sectioning things gave us more freedom, right? To do things a little bit differently, because you didn't have to communicate to the fourth person. Not that we have any trouble communicating with John, but there's things change, right? The dynamic's different. And so there was one of our songs, Daisy, one of Emily's songs that she brought into the band that has become a staple for us live, and she does actually play on that. But Daisy wound up being it's generally this kind of subdued thing, and it kind of became a little bit of a party in the middle. We bounced the groove a little bit more, so that there were a couple other moments like that were really special. So like clips of this, I believe, would be good to release. But it was just one of those. It was an interesting gig. Like I'm super happy that we did it, but it was It was one of those. It was one of those like, oh, here's a curveball for you. So that was that. That was Thursday night, and then Saturday night, Casual Gravity, the hard rock cover band that I play in, played at a place called the Chop Shop, which is a place we played many, many times. As you might guess, it's a biker bar. And I love playing biker bars. I've always loved playing biker bars. The biker crowds, and I remember we played a bunch. The band I was in Texas, the blues rock trio, Murray Woods and Tangled Blue, we played a bunch of biker bars, including Bandito biker bars. And if you know of the Banditos, you know that they have a reputation. I will tell you, and I'm sure that reputation is earned, right? Like I would guess, but playing for them and being part of their party time, their downtime, their entertainment time, same as the biker crowds here in New Hampshire, or really probably anywhere else in the country. I guess I've done them in Connecticut too. They're always just out to have a good time. They're not pretentious. They're there for the fun. It's just a good time. And I've always loved playing for biker crowds, and so Chop Shop I always look forward to playing there. We had 3 new songs that we have added to our list. Now, I should level set this. This band plays, Journey and Motley Crue. Tom, our singer, has a fantastic range. He's got an amazing voice with a fantastic range. So we can do Journey and Motley Crue and Rat and Skid Row and also Lady Gaga and Kelly Clarkson and Cher and things like that. So we like to mix it up, and I like to do the songs that highlight the fact that Tom can sing these songs that most other, working bands out there don't have the opportunity to do. And so the 3 that we added were Torn by Natalie Imbruglia, Cake by the Ocean by DNCE, and I knew I was going to forget the third one, even though it's right there. But, look at that. I had it before, and I didn't write it down. I'm like, why would I need to write it down? I definitely know what the songs are. It'll come to me. Oh, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. And Torn went really well. There's a groove to that song. I wound up starting it. I have a click to remind me of the tempo for songs, especially new songs that we do. And the energy level was fairly high when we got to Torn. And I started the click just to give me a tempo in my ears. And I was like, nope, we're going to go faster than that. And that was a mistake. I think there might be a different splitting that could happen there. But I had the click at album tempo, and we played it, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 BPM faster than that. It might be better 2 BPM faster than that. Maybe. But maybe not. Like, we're going to try it at rehearsal and feel it out and settle it in. But I was like, nope, I got to do it faster. So we did a little faster, and it worked. It was fine. And it actually, like I said, it actually went really well. I think that song's got huge potential for us. It's a great song. It has a lot of dynamics, right? The verse, and we're playing it as always with this band. We play songs that go through the translation layer of what this band is, right? So we don't sound like Natalie Imbruglia doing it. We haven't changed the arrangement terribly. Maybe, we might have changed an ending or something like that. But in general, we're playing the song and doing justice to the intent anyway, is to do justice to the original version and give people something that's familiar and all those things. But it comes out through us. And so the verses actually bounce quite well, kind of like the verses in the song. The choruses, we actually get a little heavier, not terribly heavy. It doesn't become like, metal or even hard rock, but, it gets a little crunchier in the verses. But that allows for a huge dynamic range in that song, which and a sonically dynamic range in that song too. So I like it, it went over well, and I think that one will stick. Cake by the Ocean is a song that this group of 4 musicians that is currently Casual Gravity has never played together before, but each of us had played it separately. So that one kind of came together pretty quickly because we all kind of knew it, and we just had to, we did rehearse it, but and that song goes well. It was interesting. It's always interesting sort of negotiating harmonies and finding, okay, in this band, how do we go about doing the harmonies? But there's parts where I'm singing a falsetto above Tom. There's parts where I'm singing below him. Jeff's in on some of the choruses, and it works out really, really well. Listen to recordings of all three of the songs after the gig, and they really, that one especially worked, and Torn worked. Blinding Lights, we've played this, it's new for us. We played it now at the last 2 gigs. It's a fine song. We sound good doing it. I just think it's like the structure of the song, it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again, chord progression wise. And I'm not sure it's going to stick. And I've shared this with the band. I'm not talking out of school here because obviously we don't do that. But I'm curious to see if it sticks. If it works and it works, I'm fine with it. Like I don't have any strong feelings one way or another about the song. I don't dislike it. I don't love it. It's like down the middle. It's like fine, whatever. But if the crowd's into it and if the band plays it well, if we have fun playing it, great. I'm in, no problem. But I just don't know. I think it's too bland. I think it might work in a medley. I think that's where that song might fit because you do enough of it to like give people that sense and then moving on. So speaking of medleys, our new Bon Jovi medley is crushing it. That really has come together well. We call it Slippery When Wet because it's only songs from Slippery When Wet. It's You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, and then of course, why can't I think of the name of the song? Living on a Prayer. But we've found ways to put them together, and that works really well. So that's my little gig update. That gig went well. There was a moment in the gig where I thought about our friend Parthenon Huxley, because by the third set, the club had thinned out, and I reminded my bandmates, we don't punish the people who showed up, or in that case, the people who stuck around. So it was really cold out. Like, it didn't surprise me that the place thinned out as the night wore on, but we did not punish the people who stuck around. We gave them, it was the best set of the night, and I felt good about that. That was good. So, yeah. All right. We have this fantastic guest to get to in a moment here. The next thing I want to do is I want to tell you about our sponsor, because if you are a working musician, you already know this one truth. If people can't find you online, you might as well be playing the best solo of your life in an empty room. Over a decade ago, I built my personal website on Squarespace, our sponsor, right? Because Squarespace, it's super fast, super clean, and it doesn't make you want to take your laptop and like throw it at the bass player, right? And since then, Squarespace has evolved massively, right? They've just kept adding smarter tools on top of that great foundation. They just make it easy, ridiculously easy, in fact, to build a professional site that shows off your music, your gigs, your videos, and even lets you book services or sell merch without all the duct tape and prayers. Their design tools are killer. They're so easy and so flexible. The SEO, it's all built in. And it all just works, which is kind of the dream, right? So if you want your online presence to work as hard as you do, head to squarespace.com/GIGGAB for a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch, use offer code GIGGAB, GIGGAB, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I think you're going to love it. Really, check it out. And my thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. Now, my guest co-host today lives right at the intersection of making music and making the music business work. She's a musician, a longtime industry professional, and the founder of the She Rocks Awards. She spent decades inside the music industry, from journalism and advocacy to leadership roles, while continuing to stay grounded and even play. She's also part of the team at Positive Grid, giving her a front row seat to just how musicians actually use tools, build careers, and navigate this crazy industry that doesn't always make things easy. We're talking about visibility without burnout, recognition versus reality, community that actually helps, and what it takes to build a career that lasts. Because at the end of the day, each of us will always be performing. Laura Whitmore, thank you so much for taking the time to join GIGGAB
Hey,
today.
Dave.
Hey.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank
Well, I'm
you.
happy that you're here too. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
That's a lot of stuff. I was like, oh, gosh.
Did I make any of it up? Did I get anything wrong?
No, I don't think so. That's
All
the
right.
scary part.
Did I miss anything?
It's fine. Like, there doesn't need to be more.
Okay. Well, we have the rest of the episode to fill in the more, right?
Sure.
But like you currently wear and have worn lots of different hats, right? Like journalist, musician, industry exec, community builder. What happened in your life that like how did this all like shape your path through the music business?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I get distracted by awesome things, and I'm like, that would be fun. Let me go try that. So, I mean, a lot of these
shiny
things I do
object. We don't call it
simultaneously, right?
Yeah, we don't call it shiny object syndrome anymore.
Yeah.
I call it shiny object opportunity. So
That's right, opportunity. So I think what happens for me is, you start working with people, you really love working with them, and then a new project comes up, and you're like, you kind of splinter off and do something else while you're still doing this other thing, and then that just kind of expands exponentially. And I am actually not doing journalism anymore, although I did it for many, many years. And I think my favorite thing about that was just giving exposure to people I thought were really fantastic. I mean, I was a music writer at Parade magazine, which had a huge distribution.
yeah.
And I just loved, finding that special person and giving them that platform. So I did it, and I think that's how I view a lot of things. Is like, oh, this is like I get like a special sense of satisfaction from connecting people or creating a community event. So I make it happen, but it's a lot.
I love this though. I mean, first of all, as you're saying this, I kind of lost myself as co-host here and was just like listening. So it's like, yep, this sounds like me. Yep, I mean, literally, GIGGAB exists because I used to have a co-host on the show like for the first 9 years. And then his schedule didn't work to do the show anymore. We're still great friends. But it was he called me up and he's like, you're doing podcasts and all this other stuff. He's like, do you want to do a music podcast? I think it would be great. I'm like, yeah, all right, add one more thing to the list. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. At some point, you got to pull back a little, though, right? Because you get to the point where you're like, I have no life at all.
I guess.
So I have had those moments where I'm like, okay, I'm going to, like, some things just like move on naturally. And sometimes you have to like make a decision. But
those are hard decisions, though.
it's hard. Yeah.
Really hard decisions.
Really hard.
At least for people like me, and it sounds like at least in this regard, we are similar. It's hard to, you build something and it's like, well, I don't want it to go away, even though like objectively you can say I need it to go away. So
yeah, there's just some things like for a while I was producing this live streamed interview show called Backstory.
Okay.
And we were doing live interview and performance events at the Cutting Room in New York City. And that only reason why that died was because of COVID, because, the Cutting Room had to close during COVID.
Sure.
And it was amazing. I mean, we did interview events with like Ringo Starr and David Lynch and like all these amazing people. John Anderson, like incredible.
Wow.
And now they've talked about, oh, we should bring it back. It was so great. Everybody loved it. And I'm just thinking about like how much it took to produce that show. And you end up in a different place, right? Like I wasn't working at Positive Grid then, and I had my own agency. So I had like a different relationship with people, and it would just be too much for me now. So while I still love the idea of it, it just...
Are those episodes still out there for people to find if they want? I think
they're still on YouTube, yeah.
And what was the name of the show? Please say that again.
It was called Backstory.
Backstory.
And it was Backstory Events was the organization. And it was in partnership a lot with Guitar World and some with Parade. I think the one we did with Ringo Starr was with Parade.
Yeah.
And we streamed on their platforms, and it was just amazing. It was all live, like really live.
Amazing. All right. Well, I found Backstory Events on YouTube. I'll put it in the show notes at giggabpodcast.com.
I don't know what's up there anymore, but
this is amazing. I love this. This is great. Yep. All right. Yeah, I see how
But
it
then
is.
there's other new things on the horizon that I can't even talk to you about yet.
I love that too. Well,
Something fills the gap,
something. Well, they say if you want, there's a phrase in business: if you want something done, find the busiest person; they'll get it done for you, right? And
Yeah.
and my guess is you've been the target of that sometimes.
Yeah, but I really love it.
Yeah,
I love
that's the
making
problem.
things happen, and I love connecting people, and I love just thinking of ideas, and I don't know, that's how my brain is
Yeah.
constant motion. Yeah.
Uh, it- there's a question here. Like you say you love connecting people and making things happen. When you do that, when you find something and you're like, okay, this can happen, these two people, I can connect these people and this will happen, do they wind up roping you into that project too, or are you the consummate introducer and then you can walk away? Or a little bit of
Yeah.
both.
I mean, that's a good question. I think most of the time when that happens, I'm not part of the project. I have been part of projects like
Sure.
that before.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many times, especially like we always say, the green room at the She Rocks Awards is like the ultimate networking spot where I've brought people together or they've had a conversation or, I've somebody will reach out to me and say, "Do you know somebody who does this?" And I just say, "Yeah, this person." And I just step away and then I see the magic happen. And that always makes me feel amazing. I don't need to be a part of it,
Yeah.
but I do feel really great when something awesome comes out of it. So,
That's great.
yeah.
I love that. That's good. All right, so let's talk about the She Rocks Awards, and I have to say, I have to extend my apologies. I had every intent and desire to be there this year and cover the She Rocks Awards, and simply attend them and enjoy that part of it too. And I got to do exactly none of that because I wound up pushing my schedule up a day and leaving early because of the big snowstorm that was here on the East Coast. Had I
I
waited,
think that's a terrible excuse. You should.
it is a terrible. I had to make a decision early in the week of. So the She Rocks Awards, folks, happen. At least this year happened on Friday night at NAMM, and I think it's
Yeah.
pretty much every year Friday night at NAMM. And it was early in the week. I think it was like Wednesday. I arrived Tuesday. It was Wednesday when I realized, so flying back Sunday is not going to work because there was that huge storm coming here. Yeah. So it was at that point where I had to really just start like ripping my schedule apart and being like, okay, all these sacred cows are now going to get sacrificed left and right, and it worked out. I had a good week, but that was there were a handful of things that I just couldn't fit, and so that was it. So I'll come back next year and we'll make it happen.
Okay.
So, yeah. But
Well, yeah, it was amazing.
Tell us
and actually,
about.
we all stayed till Monday. We're like, oh, why do we want to go back to the East Coast? It's like
That was the decision I had to make. It was like, am I leaving early, or am I going to stay until like Monday or Tuesday and maybe just visit Disneyland or something?
Yeah.
And I had just been in Vegas a week and a half prior for CES because I do nerdy things with one of my other podcasts. Yeah. So it was like, no, I got to get home. Like I have to have a week where I'm like home and productive in my office, and so that was, and also help my wife with the 2 feet of snow that we got too. So it was all good. Yeah.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah. But I was aware that I was trading a day in Disneyland versus, shoveling 2 feet of snow. So, I was aware of the choice I made. But let's talk about the She Rocks Awards because this is something you've created. I want to know how it came about, what it is, what I missed, what everybody listening missed. Like, let's dig into this. So how did this particular opportunity happen?
Yeah, so I'll try to give you the short version
Great.
of that story. So like years ago, I was working at Guitar World, writing a blog about women in music, which they did not cover a lot of women, in the industry, female guitar players. And I started to hear the same stories. They didn't know each other. They had the same challenges. They thought there was the merch girl and the whole deal. And I started to think about, wow, like there should be some kind of event where women in the industry get to know each other. Because, like, I can't believe I'm hearing all these same stories. We can help each other. And so I started to think about it, and I'm like, well, maybe I should make that event, right? And so the first year that we did the She Rocks Awards was in 2013. It was a breakfast. I got a couple of sponsors to help cover, the cheapest meal of the day. And we did it at the Marriott in Anaheim during the NAMM show. And Orianthi performed. I wasn't even thinking about performances, honestly. And then I was working with a brand that said, hey, we're going to have Orianthi at the show. Maybe she could perform at your event. And I was like, oh. So
Sounds great.
It was literally like the craziest thing. I think we gave, at some point I said, oh, maybe I'll do some industry awards because that would be something that people can rally around,
Yep.
And so I think maybe I did, 6 or 7 awards at the first one, and it happened at like 8:30 in the morning during NAMM, and it was great. And so we did that for 2 years, and then the third year, NAMM came to me, the NAMM organization, and said, "Hey, we have this ballroom. It's already set up. We do the tech awards in it, etc. Do you want to use it on Friday night for the She Rocks Awards?" And it was terrifying because my budget had to increase by like 5 times, and I had to get like 5 times as many people in the room that third year.
Right.
And I thought about it for a while, and I was like, wow, if I don't take advantage of this opportunity, I might never get it again. Maybe they're going to slot something else in, and that'll be it. So I just kind of jumped on that, and I reached out to people I knew in the industry who helped me, which was tremendously amazing. Like my friend Rob got me the Bengals to perform at that and be honored at that year. And we got a few other artists, and I just said, you know what? That actually taught me that you don't really know what you're capable of until you are challenged and you take that leap of faith and you just like believe that you're going to get there. I'm getting emotional because it was, oh my God, it was so stressful.
Well, I mean, there's another one of those phrases that just, floats around that, do something that scares you every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get outside of your comfort zone, do the things. Yeah. And of course that was scary. That's amazing. Good for you for doing it. But I mean, there are those moments in life, when you see somebody that has some,
it was a pivot point for me.
Exactly.
Sure.
I think I don't think of them as much as pivots as I do just plateaus, right? Life doesn't generally just go up slowly. You kind of coast along at one level, and then the day comes when you level up, and then you coast at that level, and you level up again, right? Sure. And it's not linear, and sometimes you go down and then go up again. Like this is all normal. Steve Jobs used to like to say it's easy to connect the dots going backwards, but going forwards, it's just kind of chaotic. And you have to take those opportunities when they show up, especially when they scare you. I think that fear. I mean, look, our fear is there to protect us from lions. So if there's like a lion, maybe don't take the opportunity to run out there and fight it. Right? It's like listen to the fear. But if the fear is just it's something I've never done before, take the gig. Whatever the gig is, take the gig. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we figured it out. We did, and then this year we just had our 14th She Rocks Awards, which I have to tell you, we've learned a few things in 14 years. The production was so amazing this year and so well orchestrated. And we had 10 performances this year during the show, and we gave 14 awards out. We've given 170 She Rocks Awards in the last 14 years. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So next year, 15th anniversary, you got to be there.
All right. I'll be there for 15.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Something great.
That's right. Hopefully something a little bit scary during not during the event, but during the preparation process. Yeah.
I mean, it's always, every year I'm like, oh, is this going to come together? Like, who can we get? And it always does. It always ends up being amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lesson here because we have a lot of musicians who listen, a lot of folks who, have their own bands and do their own things. And is this ever going to come together is one of the best phrases, because that happens every time you're doing something where you've got a little bit of skin in the game, right? You know, you're throwing a big event like this, but that event doesn't have to be an awards ceremony. It could be you've decided, okay, look, we want to play this club and that club won't book us. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to buy out the club for the night. And we're going to sell our own tickets because we know we can sell it out, even if club management doesn't. No problem. We know our fan base. We know how to, but we know that this can be done. We don't know how to do it, but we're going to figure it out along the way, right? That whole thing is this ever going to come together? Is it like that hesitation, that concern? But really, it's just a sense of wonder. You know, I always, whenever I've found myself in that position, well, first of all, I've been petrified. But the thing that I like to do is add one word to that. So instead of asking, is this ever going to come together? I ask, how is this ever going to come together? Right? And then it changes it because the assumption is it's going to come together. I just don't yet know how. And that's okay. I can learn something.
That's awesome. I love that reframing.
Right. Yeah. So
I think I've learned too that it takes a village. Like I know so many people in the industry. If I have a challenge now, we have an advisory board, and we also just have this amazing network of people. And they're not all women; they're just great people in the industry who I can reach out to and be like, "Hey, like this didn't work out. What do you think? Do you know somebody? Like, do you have an idea?" Um, everybody wants to be a part of it. They want to help.
Which is great.
Just a great feeling too.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That's perfect, in fact.
Yeah. But it's not all on me 100% to figure it out, which is what I felt that first time when I jumped, into the night. I actually have a great team that works with me now, but back then I was doing it all myself, which was insane. But
wow.
Like I said, we figured a few things out over the
you
last
figure it out.
years.
No, this is how things happen. And of course I knew none of this. I just know of the She Rocks Awards as a thing that is a staple of NAMM, right? And it is now. Like legitimately, it's part of it. But it certainly didn't feel that way on year 3 when they invited you in.
No.
And it probably had moments of not feeling that way here in the preparations for year 14. And it won't feel that way for year 15 from your standpoint. But from everybody else's standpoint, it's just a thing.
No, I think it does for me. I mean, I feel like the last few years, since COVID, NAMM has really been a great partner. And they made me feel really confident in the event as part of that, week of NAMM. And we sold out like early this year. So that's always an incredible feeling when you're you're a week before the event and you're sold out. And then you can just focus on polishing the event with all the tiny details and knowing that financially you're in a good place is a great feeling. So I'm super happy with how the trajectory of the event has been going. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congrats.
Plus I love meeting all the honorees. Like that's awesome too.
That's right. Well, that's one of the things I love about doing this show. I get to meet people like you. Like, it's great. It's awesome. That's really cool. That's great. I love that. Thank you for saying that part of it, because I love that you find a moment in each year that not only do you get enjoyment of in the moment, but you get to look forward to for the next year and the next year, right? Like you're building this thing that's as much for you as it is for everybody that's there. And I think that's important. I think having that stake as an attendee. I mean, I realize you're not an attendee, but you are excited about attending the event just like the attendees are. And I think that's important. And because that helps you shape this event into something that you're going to enjoy. You're not just doing it because it's a job, right?
That's true. And I actually really think a lot about the arc of the event, like, whose award is going here, whose performance is going here, what does it feel like? this year I actually added in little video clips from past She-Rock's acceptance speeches, like little quotes from people, which was amazing. So many people came up to me and said, wow, I just love that part. I remember being at that She-Rock's Awards when Melissa Etheridge did that, or, Ronnie Spector or whatever. And it's just like it was a really cool element that got added into the show this year. So, all those pieces of the puzzle are really thought out, like to the smallest detail. You have no idea what the planning documents look like. And I'm really thinking about like, okay, I want it to kick butt over here, and then I want to pull back and have this really intimate moment, and then we're going to build back up to the end. And I really think about all those parts. So
Yeah.
when it works, it feels really good.
Yeah,
Really
that's
good.
right. That's right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've mentioned names of some of the people who have been there that listeners would recognize for sure. But the She-Rock's Awards isn't just about people whose names we already know. It's about names that would be good to know about, new artists, emerging artists. How do you run that balance when creating the event? And well, I'll start there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really spend a lot of time. We have open nominations on our website, which is thewimn.com, THEWIMN.com. It starts in May 1st. We open nominations. And then we also, we talk to companies in the industry, NAMM, people on our advisory board. A lot of times I will look for, we don't just honor musicians, we honor women behind the scenes from a lot of different aspects of the industry. So I'd be like, oh, I feel like we're missing like somebody from a label, or we're missing, somebody that's a producer or something like that. And I really try to think about like, are we representing enough pieces of the industry? Are we representing enough diversity of the type of genre or background of the artist? Do we have somebody that's going to be high energy? Do we have those intimate moments? I think about everything. And then sometimes it's just like, who can we get? 'cause,
Right.
a lot of times there's people that we've talked to for years who are just never available, and then all of a sudden they're available that year, and we're like, okay, this is the year we're going to make that happen. And sometimes I like build the whole show around that. I mean, like, okay, I know what my finale is. Like, I just got to go backwards now and fill in all the other pieces of the puzzle. So, like this year, we had honored Rachel Platten, and I knew that I wanted her fight song to be the finale. So I just always had that end point in my mind.
Okay.
I was working on it while the rest of the show. Yeah.
That makes sense. You've mentioned it a couple times that you think about things in terms of an arc, and that's this too. I mean, it's no different than building a set list for a gig, right? Like you're thinking about, okay, well, here's where we can start here, or here's where we can end. How do we get there? And how do we keep people engaged so that when we get there, they're still excited, but this still brings it up, like all that stuff. Yeah.
And I will say, like this year, because it was only like a week ago that we had the show.
Yeah. This is very shortly after.
So this year, when I stepped out on the stage, because I brought a whole bunch of people out to help sing the finale, and I looked out at the crowd and I realized that the room was still really full at the finale. Then I felt like, okay, we did good.
Especially at NAMM, especially on the Friday night of NAMM.
Yeah, people have been working all day.
Keeping people in one spot at NAMM for many hours in a row, that deserves a lot of credit. Like that's difficult.
It was good.
The Tech Awards the night
myself
before.
On the back.
You should. Yeah, the Tech Awards the night before were not that way. There was a lot of coming in and out. But. It happens. It's how it is.
Happens. It's happened to us too. Like we've still had great finales, but people get tired. Sometimes, like artists go long too.
Yeah.
And there's been some people who have, we slot a certain amount of time for acceptance speeches, and then there'll be somebody like Judy Collins who will talk for 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, this segment is now 20 minutes of my show.
Uh-oh.
But it was amazing, like I can't even pull her off the stage because it was so good. But you're also like, oh my gosh, we're way over.
Yeah. Did you put timers out the year after that happened or no?
No, we don't have timers, but we have a teleprompter, and we
Okay.
insist that everybody give us their acceptance speech, and we put it in the teleprompter.
Smart. There you go.
Which people have a lot of phobia about teleprompters, I guess, because you don't use them that often, But they're amazing. Highly recommended.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, yeah. If I'm giving any kind of talk, like even if I know it, it's all that needs to happen is something distracts you, and you just have it. It's right there. Especially if you've got, if you've got crew that's pacing the teleprompter along with you and all that, which I'm sure you do.
And this year we had one that adjusted height to the person's height, so you didn't have to worry about how short or tall you were. Wow. It's really good.
That's really good.
See, those are the kinds of things we think about.
I love that. No, I think that's great. Yeah. That's outstanding.
Anyway, She Rocks Awards was great. And it's available online. We have it on our YouTube channel. If you didn't get to see it, you can watch it at youtube.com/thewomen. And it was awesome.
All right. I didn't realize that was there. I will, I'm going to make sure I cue that up. Yeah.
Next time you have 2.5 hours to just watch a YouTube video.
I could watch it on an airplane. I could pull it down and watch it on a plane. Yeah.
You could. And usually we chop it up too. So I'm still waiting to get the high-res footage, and we'll chop it into pieces as well.
Sure.
Easily digestible pieces.
That's right. Yeah. For today's world where we all have, 19 seconds of attention. That's how it works. It's just how the world is.
Okay.
What's that?
I think that's okay.
It's okay. It's just how it is. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure there's a million stories, and now I'm putting you on the spot. I love the idea of the green room being a great networking space, and additionally, I love that you're featuring artists that people may not know about. Is there anyone that's been sort of featured at She Rocks Awards that has then gone on to be a name that started out as a name that people didn't know and now has gone on to be a name that people know?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's we did Amy Heidemann really early, who was in a band called Carmen that was pretty big, but then she became Queen Herbie, which is huge. So, she did it years ago. We had Beaches open for us before they really hit it big, and they're all over the place now.
Wow.
I don't know. There's probably a few more there. I will say often the opening act is brought in by PRS Guitars, and their artist relations team is so good at spotting that emerging talent and giving them a platform. And I can't take all the credit because they've been amazing at selecting those people who are just starting to blow up.
Yeah.
But I guess there's probably a ton more, but
no, I said I was putting you on the spot. No, that's amazing. Gosh, I love that. Yeah. So you clearly are. Your whole career, your whole life. At least the working life has been about, or is about, giving people voice, giving people a platform, giving people exposure, but the right kind of exposure. That word gets a lot of, in the music industry. It gets, it's like a play for exposure. No, how about play for money? But have you found that certain types of visibility lead to better opportunities versus just visibility that leads to noise in terms of people or the products? And we'll talk about the products at Positive Grid too. But how do you decide where the noise is versus where the real value is in visibility?
That's an excellent question. I think
because you're good at it.
Yeah,
whether you know it.
Figure out what the goal is, right? So, what's your goal as a musician? What's your goal as a business? Who are you trying to reach? Who is your ultimate target audience? And kind of thinking about, how am I going to measure what's been effective, right? So, when I think about
Positive Grid as a brand, for example, we're thinking at all different levels, all funnel levels, right? Like visibility, then we want to educate people, and then we want to like close the sale. So we're thinking about how are we exposing that at all levels, and we have a lot of like measurement metrics for that. When you're thinking about yourself as a musician, like you shouldn't necessarily not think about those things too, right? Like,
right.
Maybe you're not going to go as deep as you would for a company like Positive Grid, but you can think about, well, okay, did I reach any new people? Was I able to get their contact information so I can communicate with them next time? Was I able to like build on some success that I had before? Did this exposure opportunity lead me to something else that helped me get closer to my goal? Because otherwise, if you're just doing things and you're not growing, you're not moving forward in whatever way you're hoping to, then maybe it's just being busy and it's not, really getting you where you want to go.
I love that. I do 2 other podcasts, and one of them is for one is called Business Brain for entrepreneurs. And it was in doing that show a couple of years ago that I realized I needed to erase the word busy from my vocabulary and replace it with productive. Because I could say every day I've had a busy day.
Yeah, we're all busy.
But busy can be an excuse too. So yeah, no, I love that. And I thank you for, and I realize it was, somewhat off the cuff, but like the first, I love the idea of setting a definition of success, right? Here's this thing that I'm doing. What are the metrics? What defines success? And the question you posed prior to that was, what's the end goal? And okay, how do we get there? What are the ways to break down that end goal that could be success at this event?
Small steps, right?
The small steps, yeah. But
maybe the next step is just getting the next gig, right? Like whatever that is, or
that's a great next step.
Finishing your song,
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like enormous. Sometimes when we make the goals too big, like I think you always want to have the vision of like the big goal, but sometimes it can feel really daunting when you're
big vision,
trying to get there.
Small goals. You want to get those easy wins. Yeah. People get sick of me saying this because it's ridiculous, but this is the reason when I say that I use calculus every day in my life.
Oh my God. I hate calculus.
Okay, that's fine. We can all hate I don't actually like calculus. But the lesson I learned by taking calculus was to take some problem that seemed insurmountable. And what you do with calculus is you just start breaking it down into smaller steps. And then you take each of those steps and break it down into smaller steps until you realize, wait, I know how to solve that one. And then you start solving and you go backwards up the chain. And now suddenly you solve the big problem. It might take a real long time and give you a lot of headaches and all that stuff. But that's
a process. You're learning about a process.
You are learning about correct. But calculus taught me the value of that process. And you just articulated it in a completely different way. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, I'll give you that one.
Thank you. Took me a minute to get there, but I'll get there. Yeah. But really, start with that big vision, and that's insurmountable. Like it's sometimes incomprehensible, right? And so it's like, okay, what are the small wins that I can have? And I love the first thing you said was, did I get people's contact information? Like I did this gig, did I get contact information? All these people saw me play or saw me do whatever the thing was that I did.
Yeah.
Do I know how to reach them the next time I'm doing a similar thing? Because that's super valuable, right?
Yeah, I always think like, I go back, right? I go back pre-social media, but
same.
I remember in the early days of Facebook, like Facebook had this feature where anybody that followed you, you could send them a message all at once. So it was great for musicians because if you were doing a gig or you had new music, you didn't have to just post on your feed. You could message them in their inbox all at the same time. And then that feature went away.
Yeah, it sure did.
They just took it away.
Yeah.
And it makes you really think like, you don't own those platforms. They can change the rules anytime, right? So I always try to think about, other ways of communicating. Can you build your text messaging database? Can you build your email database? Can you just build it in things ways to communicate that you have more control over. And I'm not saying don't do social media. I think there's still value there. But, if you're looking at all of those pieces, then like you're not just paying a platform all the time. You have
Yep.
more flexibility, you know. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I think that there's a lots of pieces of the puzzle you can think about, even at a very small level.
I agree. I also predate social media, or at least the mass marketed social media. I was on bulletin boards when I was like 14, but that was like way ahead of where things are now. And we used to have a mailing list, not an emailing list, a physical mailing list where once a month we would do a postcard and send it out to, and the band I was in, we had a mailing list of, I don't know, a couple thousand people. I mean, it wasn't cheap. You had to pay postage. You had to print all the stuff. It was
And you had to know pretty far ahead of time what you were doing.
Correct. That's true. That's right. Yeah, you couldn't
We used
send
to
it
buy
out.
lists for marketing. They were very expensive. You would buy lists of people to mail things to. Yeah.
But we owned that audience, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure if I dig on my computer somewhere, I still have the FileMaker database of that audience, right? But like, it doesn't matter that band doesn't even exist anymore. I still have that audience. Whereas, to your point, if social media is the only place you're connecting with people, it's okay today, but don't just leave them there. Bring them over to something. Give them a reason to sign up for your email list. Give them a reason to do something so that they can be your audience. Because otherwise, it's just a subset of Facebook's audience. It's not yours.
Exactly. And I know artists who have had really great success with like Patreon and like other platforms where people can subscribe as a fan and support you in different ways and have a special relationship with them that goes beyond just like they like your music. So I think that there's lots of opportunity for things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always, and this is true of a lot of things. It's true of like getting bank loans too. The day that you need someone's email address is not the day you want to ask them for it.
Yeah, true.
Right. So make sure you ask when they are positive on you. When they're excited to see your band, that's the moment to say, hey, great, I can tell you when we're playing again. Just sign up right here for our email and you'll get a song. That we'll send you a song and
give away something.
Give away something. It's just, but that way it's a lead magnet. You're just capturing all this stuff. You can do it. You can use it for whatever you want down the road, and you may drive people away if you use it for the wrong things, of course. But
there's laws too. So
what's that?
I said there's some laws around.
No, there also are laws around that. Yes, of course. Yeah, don't break any laws. Right.
Don't break any laws.
Don't break any laws. But like, gather those when people are interested. Strike while the iron's hot, as it were.
And actually, just while we're on this, like save those pieces of paper that they sign up on, because I've actually switched email platforms before, and they made me prove that I got opt-in, emails from people, and I literally had scans of all these pages of people that signed up. So you don't just save the paper, but scan them and save them in your computer somewhere.
Oh, spam laws. Yeah.
They want to know that you, like somebody, consented to being on your list.
Oh, wow. I never even thought about that. It makes perfect sense. Oh, yeah. Huh. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I need to start doing that because I haven't. That's great advice, though. Like, so.
I mean, I have a printer that scans. It cost me $30.
Right.
You can do it.
I mean, your phone can scan too, right?
Take a picture, right?
But you can also like the Files app on an iPhone. If you tap I think they keep changing it, and I should know this because I do a show for like tips for Apple users. But if you launch the Files app on the iPhone, there's like a little button in the upper right that you can click scan document, and it will frame the document and scan it. It will do multiple pages. So it's makes life super easy. Yeah.
I learned something today.
Yes. Well, same. I mean, we're teaching each other, and hopefully the people listening are also learning. I'm pulling it up. Yeah. You navigate to the folder where you want it saved, and then the 3 dots in the upper right corner, there's a scan documents thing. And it's crazy how good it is. And I just have it save it as PDFs.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's there. Then it's in your documents, on your iCloud documents, and it's there forever.
That's right.
Yep.
Do that.
Love it. Love it. All right. Okay, we could do this forever. I love this. You mentioned Positive Grid. And we one of our favorite segments on GIGGAB is GearGab, because we like talking about gear and all that stuff. And it turns out with Positive Grid, that's what you're making. You're making like hardware gear and software gear. So I'd love to learn about what you do at Positive Grid, but I'd especially love to learn about what some of your favorite stuff that Positive Grid that you folks make is, because we want to.
I think we have to be on GearGab then. We have to come back.
This is gear. No, this is it. We're in it now. We're in the GearGab segment. Yeah, that's right.
I got you. GearGab section. Okay, so yes, I am the Senior Vice President of Marketing for Positive Grid. So I run all the global marketing for the organization, which is a substantial role. We make guitar amps and software, as you mentioned, and our biggest selling product that you probably heard of is called Spark.
Yep.
And Spark is a really great line of practice amps that include an app that has an incredibly great library of gear that you can load into your product. You can change settings, make new signal chains. You can share them with other people. You can download what other people have created. Plus, there's features in the app that help you learn new music. So you can connect to a song and it'll analyze it and tell you what chords are in it, or you can start to play and it'll build a little backing track so you can have something to play along to. There's a million things you can do in it. So it's just this really great connected amp experience, mostly for you to play and have fun at home learning guitar. And we have all different sizes now, and there's some of the smaller ones I don't have any right here with me, but there's a little one called the Spark Go. It's this big, and all the pros use it on tour now. It's the amp that's in their gig bag for when they have to tune their guitar or warm up. We have a little one called the Spark Mini that we did a signature version of it with Steve Vai. That's the one that he has in the green room every night when he's getting ready to go on stage. And
this is really
an incredible journey there. So.
I knew about. I'm a drummer. I'm a very bad guitar player, so I don't like. I am not your target market for these. The audience is, but I'm just not that person.
Be,
but I could
be. Also Bluetooth speakers.
Well, but what's interesting is looking at these. This is amazing, and you can start that Spark Go that she mentioned, folks. It's it's $149, but as I'm looking today, it's $119.
Yeah, it's on sale right now. Go get it.
Yeah, and then you can also get it. There's the Neo Core, which are headphones, so you can actually do all of this. You control the app.
It's a guitar amp in your headphones, so it's all in one.
And all the things. It's still app compatible.
And all the things. The whole app is there too.
Yeah. This is very cool. And then
we also have Bias software, which is, computer software. Once again, crazy powerful. It has it's actually the Spark platform was built off of Bias. Bias is more pro. And it actually has features where you can type hey, I want, super saturated, high gain tone with lots of delay, whatever it is. And it'll just build it for you. So it'll create a signal chain for you. If you want to change something, you'd be pull back a little on the mids. It'll just do it for you. Or you can go in manually and just tweak it yourself.
Sure.
So it's super advanced technology and large language model, programming in there that are breaking barriers for guitarists. So
that's cool. So this is the kind of thing that is perfect for me, because if I am recording a guitar or something and I am, because I'm not a guitar player primarily and not even secondarily, probably not even tertiarily, I don't have the 10,000 hours of experience experimenting with different pedals and amps and guitars and to get the tone that I want, but I know what tone I want, right? So this maybe this is built for me. Yeah, exactly.
You can even upload a clip of a recording, audio, and it'll sample it and build the guitar tone based on what it hears. So
great.
It's pretty cool.
Huh.
It's called Bias X. It's a new platform we just released like late last year. So
yeah. Yeah, you can get a free. There's links in the show notes for all this, folks. You get a free trial, and it's $149 for the platform. Okay, I got to play with this. This is interesting. And is that available as like a plugin for your DAW? Is that kind of how that works, or is it its own standalone?
Standalone or a plugin, and when you buy it, you get both. Platform types.
Oh man! Yeah. All right, see,
very cool.
That's extremely cool. So you have the pleasure of being in charge of marketing for products that are really good and I don't want to say they sell themselves because that's not true. Nothing in today's world sells itself, but at least they deliver on the thing when people can get, like me, I can get excited about these things when I find out about them. So your job is and I'm using air quotes, as easy as making sure people find out about them. And then from there, the products kind of take it the rest of the way.
I mean, that's a very simplistic way.
I know, yes.
But I think like my job is to make sure that I'm storytelling in the right way. And that I'm not just talking about like, oh, it can do this thing, but tapping into like, what does that mean for you as a player? What is your emotional connection to what your goals are as a guitarist, and like how can I help you get there? I mean,
sure.
There's so many pieces to that, but yeah, I mean, it's a really great company. It's very progressive. Our goal is to like break rules, and I try to do that with the marketing too. Like, what can we do that's never been done before, at least in our industry, and excite people and make them feel like they're part of it and they can do it. So
very cool.
It's pretty fun.
That is fun. Are you involved at all? Like, are you consulted on during the product design process? Like, in order to be able to kind of think, well, if like that's great, but if it had this, then we could market it this way, or no?
Yes. What happens is the product team, when they're thinking about a new product, they get to a stage where they share like a preliminary kind of brief.
Yeah.
With me, other executives, and some of the team that we have that are really hooked into like what musicians are into,
Yeah.
And then we give them feedback or say exactly what you said. We say things like, oh, well, if it just did this thing, or, I don't like this idea. This is going to cause this problem, but what about that? And we give feedback, and sometimes they listen to us.
Sure.
And a lot of times it's a dialogue. We'll have like a conversation. What do you mean by this? What can we look at? And I think sometimes, obviously we'd want it to do everything in a perfect world, but
of course.
I will say like our products are really great value. Like they're really priced. Like you said, you can get Sparko for, what is it, $119 right now. The capability that you get for that price is unbelievable. And so we, sometimes we have to make decisions like, oh, maybe that's not for this product, because we want to keep this price really accessible for the musician.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it makes sense. I knew at a 10,000 foot view what the Spark amps did, and because of what I thought, because of what I knew about what they did, which was correct, I just assumed that they, the entry price was $350 and up, right? And maybe $750 and up, just because of all the features and everything. So that's pretty good. We have like a really broad line now, especially for the Spark line, and there's one at every. I think our most expensive one is like $549, which is a Spark Live. And that's made for live performance. It's a 4-channel amp and PA system in one. So it's actually got the full suite of amps and effects in channel 1. So that's a full guitar amp. And then channel 2 actually has effects for vocal or acoustic guitar. And then there's 2 other channels that are just transparent channels that you can plug in, your drum machine, or you can use your own pedal board and plug in. And it's very compact, but it sounds crazy clear and separated. It's kind of insane. That's
you
awesome.
can have all those different instruments into one thing, and then you're like, oh wow, this actually sounds amazing. So,
that's cool. Well, that's cool. I love it.
And it can be battery powered, so you can literally just take it anywhere. You can play at the vineyard, amongst the vines if you want. So,
Got it. In
yeah.
the sort of my NAMM, semi recap episode, I talked about the JBL Bandbox, and now I know where they got a bunch of the ideas for that.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Yeah, I'll say it. I didn't mean to put words in anybody's mouth. It's just mine. But yeah, that's really very cool. Amazing. And I love that you're designing this stuff, like designing high quality tech for a market that is on a budget like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. Love it. Amazing. Thank you.
I've been with them for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I was
cool.
actually their marketing agency before I came in-house as their
Yep.
SVP of marketing.
Yeah.
So I launched the first Spark right around pandemic times, which was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time. Yeah. I've said that I mean to go back and listen to some of the episodes that we did during that time, especially as like it was, as things were stopping and we were wondering what was happening and all those things. Because this, with this show being at least our initial target audience, we realized that the audience is much bigger than just musicians who are out there playing gigs. I love that we have audience members who have never played an instrument before, but are live music fans and love to know, like, how this all works, and which it was great. But for a show whose initial goal was to serve, the working musician, it was like, well, how's that going? But it wound up being this great community, right? Where we all had a place to kind of think about the things and talk about the things that were important to us, even though we couldn't be out doing those things with other people.
Yeah,
we still had this opportunity to do it with other people. So it actually worked out. It helped keep my sanity during all those lockdown days. So,
and that's important.
It sure was. Yeah. And we've heard from listeners the same thing. So it was like, all right, good. Yeah, that's great. So I'm happy we're not doing that anymore, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for doing this. Is there, we've been at this for almost an hour here now. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Anything that I know there's a bunch of stuff we missed. Of course, I always put way more on like the agenda and prep doc than I ever expect we'll get to. But is there anything you would like to say before we say goodbye to each other for now?
I think we covered a lot of stuff.
I agree.
I would just say, maybe one thing is if you're interested in what we do at the Women's International Music Network, which is the umbrella organization that runs the She Rocks Awards, please come to our website and sign up for our newsletter. It's free. We don't have dues or anything like that. And you can follow us on our socials, and you can see all the other events we do, including She Rocks. But there's a ton more things that we do all through the year, lots of networking and learning opportunities. And, we welcome you joining the conversation. So please.
Amazing.
Join us.
Well, I will make sure that we put that link in the show notes. Actually, it's already there a couple of times. So, giggabpodcast.com, folks. And when you're at GIGGAB Podcast and you're going to go click on that link, sign up for our mailing list too, because that way you get all the show notes delivered straight to your inbox, and you don't even have to come to the website and click. They're just all right there. We make it as easy as we can. Anywhere else people should go to follow you or She Rocks or anything like that, or is that the right place?
I think that's the right place. I mean, we do have a website for the She Rocks Awards, but that's only really active when we're to ramp up for the next award show, which will be in January of 2027. Oh my gosh. That sounds like the future.
Sure does.
But you can find out everything on, thewomen.com and
Amazing.
Pretty much it.
I will make sure to put that link in the show notes. Thank you so much for taking your time with me and our audience today. This is Amazing. Love it. So
Thank
much
you.
fun. There is one more thing that I would like to ask of you. There are 3 words that we always use as a little bit of a send-off here, and I could certainly say them, but I would love it if you would do the honors for me, however you might like.
Always be performing.
Love it. Thanks, folks. See you next week.